In this topic, we're going to look at what is the framework that we can use to drive your strategy for personal growth. And what we'll look at is this hierarchical structure where first you identify what your vision is, how you can elaborate upon that within a mission, what philosophy, so what lens of looking at the world and processing the information and sorting through that information we can develop, and then what principles or how can we refine our actions to get the desired outcomes we want. So we'll go through this framework and we'll see how we can develop it and apply it to your strategy for personal growth. The first thing, the vision, is really the big picture idea behind what it is that is inspiring you to achieve in the world. So as an example of that, Disney, for example, have one to make people happy. Oxfam have one to a world without poverty. So they're quite brief, kind of visionary kind of statements that are not aligned to your kind of day-to-day actions, but they kind of provide a north star or a guiding point that can drive your actions forward. My own one is to educate the human potential. So in the things that I do, I'm always trying to think about how what I do is aligned to achieving the kind of the potential we have, and how can I facilitate the education of that. So that is the kind of the force that drives my actions. For writing your mission statement, what you're trying to do is flesh out your vision statement a little bit, link it in with your particular strengths and the actions that you can take towards the outcome that you want. So I've got a bit of a framework here that we'll go through. The first one is to really identify what your main traits are. So you're really trying to identify it to what you like, what are your strengths. Then how you interact with others. So in which way are you going to share your strengths with others in a way that is aligned to your vision. Linking it to that vision with a statement such as, my perfect world is a place where. So it's trying to capture the kind of ideology of what you hope to achieve, and then using nouns and verbs to make sure that you are linking your mission statement to identify who it is that is taking the action, so you, and who you want to impact upon, and then in which way you're going to make that impact. And then to edit it, tweak it, to expand it, to simplify it until you've kind of molded something that will be useful to work with. So my own example, my vision statement was to educate the human potential. So then I'm looking at ways to make use of my particular strengths and align it in particular outcomes to achieve that vision. So the one I've written is, I wish to create regenerative changes in my life that support my health and resiliency and enable me to achieve my creative potential in finding ways to support others that identify with that goal. So it's really saying that, I want myself to create regenerative changes in my life that make me healthy and resilient and able to achieve what I hope to achieve in my life. And the way I want to kind of link it to educating the human potential is to share those kind of strategies and approaches that I've learned with others through an educational platform. So that then becomes my mission statement. The philosophy is then really analysing, how it is, what are your kind of mental constructs, what stories have you developed that create the lens which influence how you interpret the world and the actions you take. So it's a bit of a self-analysis, this one, and looking at what are your influences growing up and within society, how have they shaped how you think and how you behave, particularly, seeking positive recognition within group kind of situations. How does that influence what you do? What role modeling did your parents provide? What are your kind of aspirations? And then really kind of thinking about, has that mental landscape that you've created serve you well in creating your mission and your vision, and how can you kind of tweak and refine things and start looking at your habits and your strategies and your processes to better achieve what you hope to get out of life. And then that links into your principles. So the principles are things, reliable actions which will get a particular outcome. So if you want an outcome such as regenerative changes, The principles are the things that will reliably get you that outcome. So it will be things like improving your health and resiliency. It will be things like creating beneficial interconnections within a system. It will be finding things that are well positioned to perform well within that system. So that system could be your body, it could be your business, it could be a regenerative foodscape. But in each example, you're trying to identify the particular actions you can take to get that outcome that you want. And then over time and practice and refinement, you can start to tweak that list of principles and make it more able to achieve the particular outcomes you want. So this is the framework that we're going to be working through for the course, and we'll be exploring this within the online resources.